So you've been highly critical of FBI Director James Comey's decision not to recommend prosecution of Hillary Clinton for mishandling classified information. Can you tell us why you believe she should have been prosecuted?
Well, I think the reasons why she should have been prosecuted were essentially virtually outlined in his presentation. Number one, she maintained a private server to handle classified information. There are at least two statutes bearing on that. Number one makes it a misdemeanor to remove from its proper storage place classified information and put it where it doesn't belong. It doesn't require anything other than that. It's clear that she knew about that. He claims that there was no proof of knowledge. I'll get into that in a minute. The second statute is a felony, which says that if you have classified information and have it disclosed as a result of gross negligence, not even knowledge, but purposeful action, gross negligence, then you're subject to prosecution. It's a 10-year felony. The Congress wanted people who handled that kind of information to handle it carefully. He said she was extremely negligent. Now, or extremely careless, I think was his expression. I know of no logical distinction between extremely careless and grossly negligent, nor did he explain why there is one. So far as lack of knowledge, number one, the statute doesn't talk in terms of knowledge, but even if it did, judges all the time find that misrepresentations of fact, destruction of documents can be used as circumstantial evidence of knowledge. She, by his own account, lied repeatedly in public. The fact that she didn't lie to the FBI, or so he says, is totally irrelevant. She made misrepresentations. She destroyed documents, again, by his own account. That could be used by a jury to find knowledge. And the fact is that people have been prosecuted, certainly under both statutes, for doing less. There have been soldiers who have been subject to prosecution under that felony statute for taking classified information, putting it in a friend's drawer and forgetting to take it out and give it back, and have faced felony charges. The soldier who did that did 2 years in jail, forfeited pay, and was given a dishonorable discharge.
So some people have brought up the case of General Petraeus, and have said that what she did is far worse than General Petraeus. And he said that actually what General Petraeus did was far worse, that he not only intentionally classified and shared classified information, but he also hid the document in his attic and lied to investigators about it. And so he said, this quote from Comey, so you have obstruction of justice, you have intentional misconduct and a vast quantity of information. He admitted he knew that he was wrong, it's the wrong thing to do. It's a perfect illustration of a case that gets prosecuted. So is the Petraeus case actually worse or not?
It's different. Mm-hmm. There is different kind of evidence. She had, his disclosure of the information was to somebody who had herself top secret clearance. She wasn't authorized to see those documents, but she did have clearance, number one. Number two, it is entirely clear that there was no spillage. In other words, nothing leaked out from the information that he disclosed. She gave the documents back. Nothing made its way into the biography or any other document that she wrote. Whereas in the case of Secretary Clinton, it is clear that the FBI director himself said that she had treated this information in such a way that it was clear that it had probably been hacked by foreign powers, and that she herself had engaged in practices when in territory controlled by foreign powers, hostile powers, that lent her communications to interception by those foreign powers who are sophisticated in dealing with doing that kind of stuff, and who are our adversaries. So there was far more danger to the national security from what she did than from what he did.
Now, you pointed out that even if the CIA knew that Russia, China, Iran, or another hostile power had gotten this information, they'd probably never disclose it because that would reveal to those people that we had the abilities.
Probably never, but there's ample reason and certainly some precedent for the fact that they prefer not to disclose it.
But are we ever going to find out the true extent of the damage that was done by this episode, by her mishandling of this information?
I hope not. Because if we ever find out the true extent, we may find it out to our great regret.
Now, he said that no reasonable prosecutor would indict Hillary Clinton. That was his standard. You supervised the nation's prosecutors as Attorney General. You were a federal judge. Is that just an untrue statement, or is he right?
I don't know what the basis is for that statement. I have seen reasonable prosecutors bring cases on less evidence and win cases on less evidence. I don't stand alone in that. Rudy Giuliani, who himself was something of a prosecutor, has said the same thing. There is dynamite evidence in this case of what she did and evidence of her state of mind, notwithstanding what the director of the FBI said.
Trey Gowdy kept pointing out during the hearing how many times she had got him to say, yes, that was untrue, yes, this was untrue that she said, and he pointed out that repeatedly lying about something is generally used as evidence of knowledge and intent in criminal cases.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And as far as negligence never being the standard for a prosecution, criminally negligent homicide is prosecutable, I think, in just about every state in the union. And the director's only response to that is, well, I don't really know about state practice. But somehow the notion that it's unfair or unreasonable for Congress to have made that judgment when you're talking about national secrets, yes, if you treat those in a grossly negligent way, that should be the equivalent of criminal intent, because you're not supposed to deal with secrets that way.
You not only criticized Comey's decision, you took issue with him publicly announcing his recommendations and saying he stepped way outside of his job. What did you mean by that?
First of all, it's not at all clear that the FBI always makes recommendations in cases. It is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, not the Federal Bureau of Prosecution, and that's certainly not the Federal Bureau of Determination. They investigate, bring the facts to lawyers in the Justice Department, and here, as I understand it, they were working with Justice Department lawyers, and they may very well, in the course of bringing them the facts, make a recommendation, but they make it in the context of a confidential communication between fact gatherers and prosecutors in mulling the facts of a case, talking it over, figuring out whether it pays to go ahead. They don't just get up publicly and announce that their recommendation is that no prosecution be brought.